Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. It's 5 Minute Friday, so we're going to put 5 minutes on the clock and let's go. Alright guys, so the first thing I wanted to talk about is I just put out a video last night and I did a video about Andromeda. It's quite a long one, it's just under 30 minutes. And I did promise that I would do it, and I was going to talk about the GA, or the general arrangement, which is, I have a copy of the vessel, which is basically what people would call a blueprint maybe. On ships they're called general arrangements. And I made a video and I went through the whole vessel. So this is the bridge area, as you can see from these photographs. And you've got the wheelhouse here, you've got all of the control stations with a couple of chairs. And obviously this is the window looking forward here. And I put it live last night. It was very late for me last night. I think it was like 1 AM. And I did that because I want to make this video on 5 Minute Friday. So I put it out last night, I stayed up. It was a long video, and as such, I ran out of time really. I didn't want it to be more than 30 minutes. So I neglected to do the last deck, the tank deck. I just talked a little bit about it. And what I'm planning on doing is that I recorded the whole thing, but I droned on for over an hour when I actually looked back at what I recorded. So I edited a lot of it out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make another video. I'm going to put it on my other channel, which is eSysman Tech. There'll be a link up here and down in the description for that channel. I'm going to do one, and it's going to be all the technical areas that were not in the previous video. So it would be the tank deck and the galley and some stuff like that, some interesting stuff. Also, one of my subscribers or one of my viewers sent me another GA of the same vessel from before it was purchased by its current owner, and the tank deck is slightly different. They made some changes, and I think that's quite interesting, and it's something I want to talk about because it always happens on vessels. Well, it doesn't always happen. It happens a lot on vessels. And it's something I wanted to talk about crew accommodation and stuff like that. A question that I got this morning, which it sounds obvious at first, and I had to think about it, but the question was, are there two captains in case the owner wants to travel at night? It sounds kind of funny if you know the answer already. But actually, it made me think about a subject that comes up a lot in the media. So whenever there's an incident on a vessel in the media, one of the questions the media always say is, if they find out that it was the case, they always say, the captain wasn't on the bridge. Why wasn't the captain on the bridge? And that's just ignorance on their part really, because the captain is not always on the bridge. It's something that people think is the case, but it's not. Obviously he can't be always on the bridge, can he? Because there's only one man. And that's why the question is, like, how does he do it? Well, let's assume the vessel's in port. Vessel's leaving port. Captain will maneuver the vessel out of the port and out to sea. Now, once he's at sea, he'll hand over to the watchkeeper. And as long as that vessel's at sea, there'll be 3 people, usually 3 people, and they'll take a watch, and they'll do 4 hours each. So it'll be 8 till 12, 12 till 4, 4 till 8. And those are the 3 watches, and they do those twice a day. And they are generally on a large super yacht and on a commercial vessel, like a cruise ship or a tanker or a container ship, they'll have 3 third officers, usually watchkeepers. And the captain does not do a watch. Now, on some of the smaller yachts, the captain might take a watch. I've worked on yachts. So in actual fact, I worked on a yacht that was just under 100 meters where the captain took a watch because they just didn't have enough crew. But the general rule is the captain is not on the bridge. So for the answer to the question, are there 2 captains? No, there are not, technically not. There might well be 2 captains on board. One of them is the captain, the other one is the chief officer who holds a captain's certificate. I mean, on some of the vessels I've worked on, there'll be 3 on board. There's 3 people. There's a captain and 2 chief officers for whatever reason, and they're all captain ranks, right? And one of them will relieve the captain when he goes on leave, maybe. Some vessels do have 2 captains, like employed as captains, and they rotate. So one will do 8 weeks, the other one does 8 weeks. Oh yeah, so there's one last thing. Like I said, it's a 5-minute Friday, so I might actually make it this time. If anybody has a general arrangement, a GA or a blueprint, whatever you want to call it, if anyone has one for Moto Yacht Octopus, please get in touch, because I would love to do a video on Octopus or any of the high profile vessels, any vessel to be honest, but I really like to do Octopus. It has to be a high resolution. I know there are some out there already on the internet, but when you zoom in, they go all blurry. Now the one I used in my video last night is very high resolution. It's like 1200 dots per inch or something. You can zoom right up. So anyway, look out for that other video of the technical spaces of Andromeda. If you haven't seen that video, please check it out. I'll put links in all the usual places. I find those kinds of things interesting, and I give a lot of color to looking at the plans by explaining how it works, why it's laid out the way it is, and I've augmented it with composites from the original build. So they make images that you can hardly tell that they're whether they're real or not. They're so good. And I also use video footage of the exterior of the vessel to show the areas that I'm talking about. All right, guys, so I'm gonna leave it there. Hope you all have a great Easter if you celebrate that kind of thing, and I'll get back to you soon. I'm probably gonna put that video out over the weekend, the one of the technical spaces. Take it easy, have a nice weekend, and I'll catch you next week.